Google just dropped a new image model, and after playing around with it for a little while, I'm honestly a little confused about what the purpose of the model is. This model is Nano Banana 2 Lite. I've got the blog post here, we're gonna just briefly go over it, and then we'll talk about why this model release is just so dang confusing. We'll also play around with the model and just see how it stacks up to some of the other image models that are out right now. So here's the blog. Start building with Nano Banana 2 Lite and Gemini Omni Flash. Introducing Nano Banana 2 Lite, our fastest, most efficient image model in the Nano Banana family yet, built for high throughput, speed, and scale. So right off the bat, they're keeping up with what they've been doing the entire time, which is making really lightweight, fast image models. Now, I've actually been playing around with this model for the last couple of weeks as I've had early access, and yeah, it's wicked fast. The quality is just all right. It's a Google image model. It's what you'd expect. So they included a little video here that basically showcases how many images you can generate in a minute, Nano Banana 2 versus Nano Banana 2 Lite. And if we scroll through, it's quite a lot. You have 21 images for Nano Banana 2 Lite, and Nano Banana 2 could only make 3. Nano Banana 2 Lite, which is actually just Gemini 3.1 Flash Lite image, it's not even built on Gemini 3.5, which we've seen Gemini 3.5 Flash, but I guess if they're just making a lightweight version of Nano Banana 2, that model also was made with 3.1, so I guess that kind of makes sense. It is designed for rapid ideation, high velocity developer pipelines where speed and cost are the primary constraints. Next, we get into the benchmarks, and there's some wild things going on. First off, they exclude GPT Image 2 because Image 2 would just destroy Nano Banana on this benchmark. And just to prove that, here's Image 2 versus Nano Banana 2. This is by Artificial Analysis. Image 2 has an ELO score of 1,339, whereas Nano Banana has an ELO score of 1,254. I mean, even Image 1.5 beats Nano Banana by 6 points. Obviously, these are just benchmarks, but man, I've used both extensively, and Image 2, even Image 1.5, clear Nano Banana every single time. Also, funnily enough, Microsoft's image generation model, My Image 2.5, also beats Nano Banana 2 and comes in second place right behind Image 2. That's actually kind of surprising. Maybe they have a good image model. We'll have to try that out. It's just weird to see Microsoft make a good AI product. If we come over to image editing, that is a separate ranking. Image 1.5 is tied with Image 2, not really a surprise there, and Nano Banana 2 is 11 points behind it. So yeah, they don't even include Image 2 on this benchmark, which immediately to me makes this benchmark seem a little sus. Now, the lightweight version of the model comes right behind the full version, just scoring 19 points less, which isn't horrible. Now, funnily enough, the thing that I know Nano Banana for is image editing, and it seems to just fall short on image editing, which is really unfortunate. Actually, you can see here, Grok Imagine beats it by 21 points. That's pretty crazy. Now, maybe the upside of speed is really worth it, but honestly, in my experience with this model, it's just not. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I just don't have use cases where I need to generate like 1,000 images in a row. It's just unrealistic. There's just nothing I would use that for. Latency per 1K, resolution image, lower is better. The light version absolutely crushes the full version, and it looks like it beats out all the competition. Now, to be honest, 4 seconds compared to like 4.4 seconds, 6.7 seconds, it's not really that big of a difference. When you're comparing it against 20 seconds, that might be worth it if quality is really not your main concern. And 45 seconds is probably more in line with Image 2. But in my experience, I'm not really looking for speed with image generation. It'd be nice to have, but I'd much rather have a nicer image. Now, the light version of Nano Banana 2 is also quite cheap. It's coming in at just 3 cents per 1K resolution image. It's right around half the price of the full version of this model, which is pretty impressive. Both Flux 2 and Grok Imagine actually beat this on price, which is a little surprising, especially because Grok scores higher on image editing. Nano Banana 2 Lite shines in latency and cost efficiency. Notice they don't say that it shines in quality of your images, and yeah, that holds true. I mean, the highest quality image you can make with Nano Banana 2 Lite is 1K resolution. This is like 1080p. So they give us a nice little graph just saying what you should be using this model for. It shows low latency, low cost for a medium visual quality and low reasoning. I honestly think the visual quality should be low on this, not medium. That seems a bit disingenuous. It's also not really comparing it to anything but itself. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. Now, ultimately what I wanted to talk about in this video is I really just want to figure out what Google's doing. They're releasing these lightweight models like Nano Banana 2 Lite and Gemini 3.5 Flash, and they haven't even released their flagship model Gemini 3.5, which feels a little weird to be getting the flash version of that model before the actual release. Usually those happen in the opposite order. So part of me thinks they might be skipping from 3.1 directly to 4. And hopefully 4 comes with just some absurd leap in intelligence. And knowing Google, that likely could happen. When they released Gemini 2.5 Pro, that jump was astronomical. So this is totally a possibility. Now with Nano Banana 2 Lite, I really am not sure what the use case is. I just can't figure it out. The model's just not good. And again, I don't know what you'd use it for. Very rarely do I need a 1K resolution image. I'm almost always looking for 4K, and I have to settle for 2K because that's what Image 2 maxes out on. Now, they go on in the blog post to say that you should be making your images with Nano Banana 2 Lite and then pass that image on as a reference for Gemini Omni. And I guess that's where the quality increases, but that feels like kind of a dumb release in my opinion. You have a product and the whole point of the product is just to fuel another product. It seems kind of weird. And also I really haven't seen anybody using Gemini Omni Flash for anything other than some silly videos. And even Google themselves only show these like silly use cases. Like why would I ever need a video of my phone pouring water into a cup? I just don't know. I can't tell you the use case of it. Perhaps this is one of those situations where it's like, this is the worst it'll ever be, and eventually it'll be amazing. And in that case, that's great. I just don't see myself using this. I think another argument for this model's release being important is this is something that can more than likely run on edge devices. Google is definitely not currently winning the AI race versus like OpenAI and Anthropic. For some reason, I think they're like the absolute best poised company to win the AI race, and they've just fallen behind. Maybe releasing products that have to work across their entire suite takes extra time. I really couldn't tell you, but it's weird to see them so behind when they were so ahead with Gemini 2.5 Pro. So they may be trying to capitalize on the mobile market. Obviously, Google has Android and their AI powers every Android phone from the Galaxy to the Pixel phone. And I've heard it's actually pretty good. I unfortunately just have an iPhone, so I'm not 100% sure. And if that is the case, if they're really just making these models for edge devices, that's pretty cool, but I don't know about you guys. I do most of my AI work in the cloud. Maybe the goal is to just get away from the cloud. I'm not 100% sure, but I really don't need a lot of AI running on my edge devices. I don't really have a lot of use cases for that. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any ideas, because I just can't quite figure out why they released this model. I don't know what the purpose is. Now let's see how fast the model is. That's the claim to fame, so let's test it out. Allegedly, it only takes 4 seconds. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. 2, 1. Yeah, that was less than 4 seconds. That's pretty dang impressive. But let's look at the image. So at face value looks kind of okay, but if we really get into it, I don't think this looks that good. So we can see the cat's face here. That looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm not super familiar with cats. This looks like a cat to me. What bugs me about this image is back here. The cat appears to have like just like a big bump on its back. Unless I just don't know something about cats. Let's try again. Yeah, that's pretty dang fast. And again, it has this weird back. Maybe this is just normal. It's just normal for cat. I mean, this one just feels out of place. This one just looks like the cat's back. So maybe those are like different angles. I'm really not sure. That just doesn't seem correct. But this one looks fine. Now let's edit the image of the cat. So we're gonna make its hair white and its eyes red. And yeah, that worked. These honestly do look like the same image. You can see like the little paws being tucked in right here, where you can see them in the same spot on this image. In terms of consistency, like in the background, all these books seem to line up. Outside, the trees seem to line up. So yeah, it looks like it didn't actually change anything else in the image other than what I asked it to, which is really cool. And it was wicked fast. Something about Nano Banana that I really dislike that Image 2 does so dang well is background removal. This is something that I use AI for all the time in my workflows. As an editor and graphic designer, I'm frequently using things like little icons or making thumbnail faces that I need to remove the background on. And it's wicked fast in AI usually. Let's see how Nano Banana does. So I'm just gonna say remove the background. Okay, so it definitely removed the background, but it made the background white, not transparent. So let's try that. I'm gonna guess this isn't gonna work. Yeah, oh my God, that's terrible. That's really bad. So not only does it not create a transparent background, this feels like a hallucination, like that's really bad. And this image of Matt just gets worse because again, the maximum resolution image it can make is 1K. Now, obviously, I know this is supposed to be just a reference image to be passed on to Gemini Omni Flash, but that honestly kind of just feels like a waste of a release when they have Nano Banana, which just does this already, and it does it really quickly as well. I just can't quite figure out the use case for needing an image made in 5.5 seconds. This is my exact same gripe with Grok Imagine. It does basically the same thing, where it just makes you like the shittiest image you've ever seen in your life, and it makes it in like 5 seconds. So yeah, I'm not really entirely sure what Google's up to with this release and also the release of 3.5 Flash. It just doesn't really add up to me. I kind of hope they just jump straight into Gemini 4 and it rocks, and they prove us all wrong once again. But at the rate that Anthropic and OpenAI are moving, I kind of highly doubt that would happen. So yeah, that's about it.